is going on, good people? I know, I know. I'm making another video this quickly. After the last one, while this is certainly not exactly what you'd call a rapid turnaround time for me, if you're familiar with how I operate, it is I can go sometimes a couple of months without uploading a video, and it doesn't mean that I don't love the channel. It's just more to do with not having a lot of free time, such as adult life. But I wanted to go over some unlikely pickups that I've had this week. I seem to be on a little bit of a roll on finding games in the thrift scene. And I think that's how it usually goes. You can go months and months and months and not see so much as a single crappy sports game on the shelf of Goodwill or Salvation Army or what have you. But then every once in a while you'll have this little bit of a ray of sunshine through the clouds, and it's like the retro and video gaming deities decide to smile upon you just for a little bit, just enough to keep you on the line and keep you having hope. But I was at the Goodwill bins the other day. If you're not familiar, go check out some of my other videos. But it's basically all the crap that won't sell in the store, and they just dump it over to an outlet center, kind of like how a lot of your big retailers will do. They'll have their smaller outlet centers for stuff that doesn't even sell on clearance. But they wheeled out a fresh bin, and usually that's kind of the signal. This the blood in the water for the resellers, and they'll all gather around those bins, jump into them, and it's just a whole scene. If you haven't experienced it, I suggest you go see it for yourself at least once. But I saw a PlayStation 4 game peeking out from underneath something else in the bin, and nothing special. It's Super Street, the game, a racing game. While racing is not my favorite genre, I do enjoy some of them. I was a huge fan, for instance, of the Need for Speed series on the original Xbox. Not so much like the Hot Pursuit, but like the nighttime city scene. And it kind of seems what this, at least judging by what's on the back cover, seems to be of that vein, of the Midnight Club sort of vein. And of course, a lot of water damage to the artwork. It looks like some mud. Lord, I hope that brown stuff is mud that's on there. And first thing I thought was, well, that's just a case. There's not going to be anything in it. But lo and behold, I opened up the case, and the game was in there, and it was in halfway decent condition. And the thing about the bins is you pay for stuff by the pound, so considering what that weighs, I pay pennies for it. So if I hate it, I mean, what am I out really? And another thing I picked up this week wasn't from the thrift scene, but it was from my employer. I suppose that my overall manager and her husband are trying to do some spring cleaning in their home. So they're getting rid of like a ton of their physical media, their books, and they're getting rid of a bunch of DVDs. And in that, I saw a video game. Now, it's, again, nothing special, but Destroy All Humans 2 for PlayStation 2. You know, fun game. Not a rare game, not a valuable game, but for free, 99. I couldn't argue with the price. So hey, nice little pickup, and I didn't have to come out of pocket for it. Now this last thing, or at least for this segment, this last thing was something that I think you have to be a weirdo like me to get really excited about, and it certainly has no real actual monetary value, but it's just the kind of thing that I love. And I found a video cassette from a rental store that was called Planet Video. And it says that they will match all competitors' deals, and you can have a free membership, and they have over 10,000 videos, and what does it say? Computerized information system. So I guess they were really fancy at the time, and they had a video arcade on hand, I suppose. Now, I went and looked this up, and I saw that there was a rental chain by that name in Australia, but the only one that even AI could come up with on as far as the United States goes was some area of California. So who knows? Maybe this thing traveled over the stretch of the country over the years. But what I love about this, again, it's just a physical memory of a moment in time. These little things like this, these little artifacts of a bygone era, they just make me so happy. And I have some other ones. I have a new release Blockbuster VHS, and I've got some movie gallery stuff. And weirdly enough, I even have a couple of Redbox DVDs in their little plastic cases, because who even sees a Redbox anymore, right? That kind of thing just makes me happy, and I like to have it on my shelf. And again, it just, I can look at it, it makes me smile. And there were a ton of these mom and pop shops back in the day, and for some of us, it was the only access we had to movies outside of the movie theater, because goodness knows we weren't big enough to have a theater in our town, and some of us didn't have cable. So that's how we consumed our media. And I'm definitely happy to put this next to the others of a similar vein on my shelves. But another thing I really want to talk about, and this is going to be the focus of this video, and I'm not usually one to do a lot of unboxing type videos. I mean, let's face it, that's an oversaturated market as far as YouTube goes. But I'm a big fan of Whatnot. Like, I even if I don't buy anything, I just like killing time on Whatnot. If I'm in the bathroom, or I just have a little downtime on my lunch break, and I see a bunch of these. I'm not going to say I hate them. I don't hate these people personally, but I hate their sales tactics. I believe I even made a video about it, the kind of the scummy Temu flippers on Whatnot. And a lot of them, I will block them as soon as I see them, because again, it's not, I don't hate the game. I don't hate that they're buying low from a supplier like Temu, Alibaba, Wish, whatever, and trying to make a little bit of a profit online. There's nothing wrong with that. That's commerce. I'm not a fan of scummy, high pressure sales tactics. In a lot of ways, Whatnot has been associated kind of with, or compared to, a form of gambling, because you go in and you hope to get those one or two really good items for a really good price, and when you do, it's kind of that Las Vegas casino thing. It's like, once you get one or two wins, they got their hooks in you. But a lot of the Temu resellers that I see, they're like, oh, these sell for $200 online, or I only have two of these left, or I can't keep these in stock and nobody has these, like that kind of crap, trying to create that false sense of urgency, like, oh, if I don't buy it now, I'm probably not going to be able to get a deal. I hate that. But I say all that to preface it with saying I actually bought something from one of them, something I swore I would never do, but it was because I was curious. And it's these little handheld emulation devices called the R36S. It's a no-name deal. It has a bunch of games already pre-installed on it, and they say it runs on a Linux-based operating system, which not a big draw for me. I don't have a lot of experience with Linux, even though I do. My understanding is that it's often a more robust and stable operating system than Windows or iOS. And iOS is just a whole other thing, with it being a walled garden, but I won't get into that rant here. But I went ahead and started looking online and watching some YouTube videos, and I'm like, the consensus seems to be that it's a relatively capable little handheld, and it can be had if you go directly to Temu or Alibaba for, like, anywhere from $25 to $30. And I said, even though I already have some emulation handhelds, I wanted to give this a shot. Like, it really had my curiosity, and I thought, well, if nothing else, it's like, if I don't love it, I'm not out a ton of money. I didn't break the bank. But if I do like it, then I'll maybe have a little gaming system I can just shove in my pocket and take with me on the go. And reportedly, it plays and emulates up to N64, PlayStation 1. Now, my experience with N64 system emulation, it really is hit and miss. I haven't had a lot of luck with it. I am sorry, I got interrupted with parental duties, but as I was saying, my experience with N64 emulation is that it is at best spotty. I've tried it on all sorts of devices that, in terms of system specifications, were more than beefy enough to run those games. and yet they stutter. There's audio issues, and it's just generally as has been a bad time for me. So I don't, and I was never a big fan of the N64 anyway. But again, this thing purports to be able to play games of that era, so we'll see. But I wanted to go ahead and let's unbox this thing. And the thing I noticed right away, I mean, not that packaging is a big deal, but this feels like premium packaging for a Temu item. Like it's really, it's thick. Like it is, it feels like the sort of thick cardboard that you would get a flagship Android or iPhone in. Like it feels like you actually are getting something. The console itself, pull this off. Now I ordered an orange one, and orange is what I got. Offhand, see, it has 2 analog sticks, D-pad, you know, your typical Xbox type layout. Now, one of the complaints or comments I've heard is that the buttons feel mushy. I don't know. I guess I don't know what mushy buttons feel like, but they seem to have a pretty quick, nice bounce back. I think one thing I could see not liking about it maybe is that, and that's because I have bigger hands, that these buttons are kind of small-ish. But again, I grew up playing on the NES, and those buttons weren't exactly huge. I don't think that's going to be a big deal for me. The analog sticks are nice and clicky. Has these 4 trigger buttons on the back. I don't know about. I don't foresee myself using or playing a lot of games that would use these. But let's go ahead. You know what? Actually, a lot of people, the first thing they want to do is peel these protective layers off, films off. I don't do that. Because if I like the device, I'm probably going to get some sort of protective case for it. But in the meantime, that's going to keep the screen from getting scratched. I keep those. I even still have the original film on my Galaxy S24 that I've been toting around for a couple of years, and well, on the back. Let me preface that I still have the protective on the back because it's just an added layer of protection for me. But let's go ahead. Let's turn this thing on. If I can figure out how to do that. This is assuming it's charged, and it is. It's R36S. I guess it's going to take a minute to load into its games menu. This is taking a while. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for now. Oh. See, it says, let me figure out how to turn the volume down here. Okay. The volume rocker is very responsive. It says that it has 24,597 games on it. We'll see. It says A to enter, so let's go ahead and do that. Select game. Oh, it has them alphabetized. I'm sure there's a way to go ahead and sort this by system. I'm not sure about that. Let me go back. Oh, there we go. It goes by arcade, Capcom Play System 1, 2, 3, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Gear, Mega Drive, NES, Neo Geo Pocket, PSP, 13 games. Interesting. I'll have to see how that plays. PS1, Sega CD, Super Nintendo, Wonder Swan, which is a system I've heard of but don't know anything about. Atari, online games. Okay, let me go ahead, and I know that I'm going to play NES more than anything, so let's go ahead and select that. All right. And I'm going to put on one of my, if it has one of my favorite NES games of all time, you just press down and you can go through the menu pretty quickly. Wow, it really does have a lot of, okay, maybe not. Let's go. Let's play Blaster Master, because why not? Loading. D-pad seems pretty responsive. Okay, okay. And the screen, I'm told, is an IPS screen. And what I'm not going to do is lie to you and say that I have any idea what that means. But it's supposedly for retro play. It's a pretty solid choice. You know what? It's playing the game really smoothly. I don't hate it. I think if nothing else for NES and 16-bit era games, if emulation, if that's what you like to play, tentatively I'm going to say I don't see any reason why you should plunk out, anything north of $50 to accomplish that. But for $25 to $35, I absolutely don't think you could go wrong at all with an R36S. Now, I'll probably make a video later on with an update and, once I have some more hands-on time with it. But on the surface, my gut reaction is that I like it. I think I'm going to enjoy this a lot. Like I said, it weirdly feels like a premium product, even though it's not. And I have a little handheld from Anbernic. I have a R351P. I forget the exact designation. Anbernic, you need to, if you're watching, please come up with some better names for your systems other than these weird little letter and number designations. But I like it. I would say if you're a fan of 8 and 16-bit era games, I would pull the trigger on this again. I absolutely would. Anyway, I mean, I know that's not the most in-depth review you've ever heard in your life, but I'm not an overly technical guy. I'm not one of these people that's going to fuss and obsess over a system's imperfections, because every bit of hardware is going to have something you wish it did better. But I think when you're paying a less than premium price for a product that feels premium and seems to play well, you get what you pay for, right? Anyway, that's all I've got on that. And I hope the rest of you have a fantastic weekend. And I will catch you on the next one. And as always, pick your battles, because not every hill is worth dying on.